benefits and cross-border payments.
Yeah.
How do you think that stablecoins could really benefit Dubai's residents as well as businessmen in terms of cross-border payments, remittances,
Yeah.
financial inclusion and more?
So imagine you need to take a plane, right? You arrive to the gate. So in this case, imagine you need to make a payment. So at the counter, the hostess says, yes, we have a plane. We don't know when it will arrive, if it will leave, and how long it will take, you know? The fact that we can use stablecoins to facilitate that, it's pretty straightforward on the need itself, especially maybe when it comes down to countries like Southeast Asia or Africa or Latin America.
UAE. The global financial landscape is undergoing a monumental transformation, and as always, the United Arab Emirates isn't just watching from the sidelines, it's leading the charge. While many nations are still grappling with the basics of digital assets, some still trying to figure out if Bitcoin is a type of exotic fruit. The UAE is once again solidifying its position at the forefront of innovation, actively reshaping the future of finance. Today, we are diving into groundbreaking innovation that's set to profoundly impact how money moves and how we interact with digital assets right here in the Emirates. The imminent launch of AE-Coin. This isn't just another cryptocurrency. It's the nation's first fully regulated dirham-backed stablecoin, operating under the stringent oversight of the Central Bank of the UAE. Think of it as your reliable dirham, but with digital superpower. So what exactly does this mean for you, for businesses, and for the UAE's grand economic vision? At its core, AE-Coin is designed for price stability as it's pegged 1:1 to the UAE dirham. It's poised to provide a secure, efficient, and low-cost digital payment solution for instantaneous remittances, fundamentally transforming how money is sent home. It's a strategic move to address the limitations of traditional banking systems, enabling anyone with an internet connection and a digital wallet to send, receive, and store money without needing a bank. Essentially, it's financial freedom, just a few clicks away. The Central Bank of UAE is also actively exploring its own digital currency, the digital dirham, having begun implementation in March 2023 with a hint at a commercial rollout as early as the last quarter of this year. It seems the UAE is not just adapting to the future of finance, it is actively setting a precedent for other nations aiming to modernize their financial systems and promote inclusive economic growth. This is CryptoPulse UAE, and here we unravel how the stablecoin is quickly becoming the new dirham. You're now watching the Spotlight segment on CryptoPulse UAE. To elaborate further on stablecoins, which are the quiet giants in the crypto industry, we have with us the more beautiful one. Joining us is Chiara Munaretto, who is the managing partner of Stablecoin Insider. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Stablecoin Insider, what really inspired you to start this? What were the gaps that you found in the market that wanted you to aim to address this particular gap and create a platform for stablecoin enthusiasts?
First of all, thank you very much for having me. I'm really happy to be here and just talk more about stablecoins. I entered the space about 5 years ago, and I think throughout the years I really noticed how much the media space was always merging the conversation of crypto, blockchain, and stablecoins as well. And I felt that there was the need for a dedicated spot to address stablecoins exclusively, especially for how things are moving forward, because crypto, in terms of investing, in terms of altcoins, Bitcoin and so on, can be very different in terms of the players and in terms of the mechanism around it as well. So that's a little bit how Stablecoin Insider was born, and we really aim to be the most trusted place for anything related to education and news around stablecoins.
Can you talk more about your journey from being less involved in the crypto trading industry and to mastering the stablecoin field?
Yes, absolutely. Because I think it's kind of crucial also to how Stablecoin Insider was born, which comes down to my need in finding my place within the industry, because I've never really been a big crypto trader myself. I've been more of a blockchain enthusiast, so of the, let's say, inherent characteristic of the technology itself. And for me, it's really important to find the sweet spot and be also a connector between the more crypto-degen community and the TradFi community, or traditional people, right? So we need someone who is able to translate complex topics, which can be, for example, blockchain and crypto, and really try to highlight as well what is the utility of why we in the crypto scene we are pushing this technology so much. So I found, let's say, my sweet spot with stablecoins that are in the end meant for everyone, so not just for crypto people, and I hope I can contribute a lot within the space and try to make sure everyone is well educated and has access to test this new payment infrastructure.
You know, that's interesting. You mentioned complex concept.
Yeah.
So for newcomers who are very, very new to crypto, how would you explain the value and safety of stablecoins, starting with what are stablecoins? And what should really regulators and industry leaders prioritize in terms of long-term adoption, while also talking about the entire meaning of stablecoins for a country like UAE?
Yes, I think to try to put it in simple terms, in the end, stablecoins are simply digital tokens that are pegged to something stable, and something stable in this case can be a national currency, which for some countries this is also debatable, but usually are pegged to the US dollar or the euro. And I would say their most significant use case is really in easing cross-border payment. By removing the middleman, the cross-border payment can be way faster thanks to blockchain technology, as well as lower fees.
I was also talking about what are stablecoins and what does it really mean for UAE?
Yeah, I think stablecoins are, compared to national currencies, are looking at global adoption as well. So I think that's also another type of mindset shift that perhaps in people shall be happening as well. So when we talk about stablecoins, we're not necessarily talking about country adoption. We are talking about global adoption, because that's the purpose, right? To try to expand into cross-border payments. Of course, many countries like the UAE with the AED coin, for example, the stablecoin backed by dirham, they are trying to serve their own nation with facilitating cross-border payments. But for a country like UAE, I think that it's extremely international and always at the forefront of innovation and facilitating technology, facilitating new ideas and ways to improve global transaction and innovation as well. I think it's very important for them to have approved stablecoins as a payment, especially within I saw that the DFC has approved that within the DFC. So the fact that companies right now can, for example, send USDC or EURC as well, I think that's a very good step, because one is regulated, two, it allows for a playground as well to test whether we have the right infrastructure to do so.
True. So on one hand you have the adoption, on the other you were talking about regulations as well.
Yeah.
So the UAE has introduced regulations empowering digital dirham, the dirham-backed stablecoins, if I can put it the right way. How do these local frameworks set Dubai apart globally, and what challenges would they present to the existing the US dollar pegged stablecoins like Tether?
Yeah, I think it's interesting because by having your own dirham digital backed stablecoin, perhaps people within the country can have more trust within the UU in using the national stablecoin, while still being incentivized and benefit from the benefit of the technology itself, so cross-border payments. So perhaps there could happen that there will be decreased use of other stablecoins, as the dirham-backed stablecoins will gain traction, especially because it's regulated. It's mandated by the central bank itself, so issuers will need to get approval from the central bank in order to issue it. And this, coming from an authority, will allow, mostly I would say, the retail to directly interact with the dirham without having to test other stablecoins, which are perhaps outside their own knowledge or outside their country itself.
Now, Dubai has recently approved Circle's USD coin and Euro coin. So when this is used in the financial ecosystem, what does this mean for fintechs and financial institutions based in Dubai?
Yeah, I think what I was mentioning before, that the fact that companies within the FC, which is regulated differently from other free zones, have the possibility to just use and leverage different stablecoins, this really allowed them to test the benefit of it. So I think when we consider supply chain, for example, it's really important to get liquidity as fast as possible. So with stablecoins, if companies can test it out and facilitate and get liquidity more sooner, this could start showcasing some benefits in terms of stablecoin adoption.
Talking of benefits and cross-border payments, how do you think that stablecoins could really benefit Dubai's residents as well as businessmen in terms of cross-border payments, remittances, financial inclusion, and more?
Yeah, I think remittances is a very big topic. If we consider traditional remittances, I think they can get to fees between 5-6%. They can take 3-5 days, so it can get quite expensive. And I want to bring here an example that I recently spoke with a CEO of a company within the UAE, and he was bringing this example of how within the banking system we don't realize what is the issue of this structure. And he was making the example of a plane. So I'll bring this example to simplify the concept. Right. So imagine you need to take a plane, right? You arrive to the gate. So in this case, imagine you need to make a payment. Yes. So you arrive to your digital app on your phone, right? So at the counter, the hostess says, yes, we have a plane. We don't know when it will arrive, if it will leave, and how long it will take, And the same thing when you do the banking transfer, because you don't know if it will take 2 days, 3 days, if it will get through in the end, right? So if we apply the current banking structure to other industries, it seems crazy. Even with emails. Imagine you need to send an email and
you don't know when
exactly, Gmail says, okay, it seems done, but it's not arrived. I will let you know, right? So I think with these examples, you realize how much of an issue it is and how much better it could get. So the fact that we can use stablecoins to facilitate that, it's pretty straightforward on the need itself, especially maybe when it comes down to countries like Southeast Asia or Africa or Latin America, where the banking infrastructure is very different and not as it's not working as well as the European Union, for example. Then stablecoins could really facilitate the remittances global.
What would be your advice to anybody who's coming into the stablecoin field right now to Dubai? What would be your advice to them? I know you're also pretty new to Dubai. You've just come in the month of August.
Yeah.
But what would be your advice to anybody who comes into this particular space right now?
Talk to as many people as possible. Because I think that's the beauty of this space as well, that no one knows the final answers, right? We are all working on it, we are all trying to learn from the space, we're all trying to figure out what are the problems, what is my role in the space. So the more you talk with people, the more you spot what are the problems and what are the opportunities for yourself as well. Education, I think I mentioned it multiple times, I think that's very big, but for me the greatest education also comes by talking with people and really understanding concretely what is happening and what are the limitations itself. So just meet as many people as possible and try to get educated when you can.
For professionals and teams moving from traditional finance like Web3, crypto, custodial solutions, and more, what skills and strategies are most crucial when it comes to Dubai's rapidly changing market?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to what I was saying before in terms of like making sure you have blockchain education, regulatory understanding, and the mindset of pushing. So for example, it's not just important as companies to be willing to be first movers, but you as well as an employee, you have the power to influence the company itself. And because I think most companies, when they don't take a step, is because they don't have enough information. The moment they have enough information and enough knowledge, they are at least able to evaluate or consider it properly. So if you can become the stablecoin knowledge expert within the company, then you add value to the company that will have the chance to be a first mover within, let's say, within the next years. Yeah.
Looking ahead, my final question.
Yeah.
What key messages would you like to share about the future of stablecoin industry?
I think I always look at capital. So for me, stablecoins really comes down to capital accessibility and capital availability. So capital accessibility is the ability to access capital at any point in time, everywhere, regardless of my current situation. So for example, I'm in Africa, I don't have a bank account, good. I'm still able to access capital, money. I'm in Europe, I simply don't want to use the bank, good. I can still access stable coins and behave how I want with money. And capital availability instead comes down more to the liquidity. So with the example of supply chain before, the more money I have available instantly, the more I can do. The less friction in terms of will they pay, will they not pay, what do I do, I need to structure my orders and so on. So the ability to make money work as well, I think for companies is really important. So if we can try to fix the accessibility, which comes down to financial inclusion as well, and the availability of the capital itself, I think markets can really move faster and better for hopefully everyone.
Sure. Hope that happens for everyone. Yes. Thank you so much for joining us on this show and giving us an insider dope through to the company's Stablecoin Insider there. Thank you so much for this. But don't go anywhere because we have much more coming up on this show on stablecoins. All right, moving on as we deep dive into the subject. How exactly are stablecoins fitting into the UAE's financial infrastructure? And is it as seamless as sliding into your favorite pair of perfectly broken-in shoes? The AE coin is directly pegged 1:1 to the UAE dirham and is fully backed by reserves held within the UAE. This means that for every AE coin in circulation, there is a corresponding dirham in reserve, ensuring its value and stability. This strict backing and the oversight of the Central Bank of the UAE through its Payment Token Services Regulation are crucial for building trust and ensuring the coin's reliability. No disappearing acts here. The UAE Central Bank is not just approving stable coins, it's actively exploring its own digital currency. It began implementing its digital dirham strategy in March 2023 and is now probing its viability with a possible commercial rollout in the last quarter of the year. Stablecoins are also playing a critical role in larger initiatives. The Dubai Land Department, or the DLD, has launched a pilot project allowing investors to invest in tokenized real estate through an on-chain investment platform. Importantly, transactions on this platform are conducted entirely with UAE dirham, even though it relies on blockchain technology and eventually will support secondary trading of tokens, improving liquidity. This offers fractional ownership in Dubai-based properties with a minimum investment of 2,000 dirhams, opening up high-end real estate to a broader class of retail investors. So, if you've ever dreamt of owning a sliver of Dubai's skyline, your dream might just be getting a digital reality check. The DLD projects tokenized real estate to represent 7% of Dubai's real estate market by 2033, valued at 60 billion dirhams. The integration of stablecoins is also impacting traditional finance. While banks might initially resist the shift, perhaps seeing it as a digital sibling rivalry, they may eventually be compelled to adopt stablecoin technology to remain competitive. Major financial institutions globally like Standard Chartered Bank, Bank of America, PayPal, and Stripe are already exploring or even launching their own stablecoins. In Dubai, the Dubai Financial Services Authority, or the DFSA, in the Dubai International Financial Center, that is the DIFC, has approved Ripple's RLUSD stablecoin, which is designed to support the DLD's real estate tokenization initiative by recording title deeds on the XRP ledger. Ripple emphasizes that regulated stablecoins offer businesses a faster, cheaper, and more transparent alternative to traditional payment rails, especially where fiat liquidity is limited. This shift is projected to yield $2.1 billion annual economic boost for Dubai, driven by the elimination of cash handling costs, reduced fraud, and accelerated transactions. Essentially, the future of finance is getting a significant upgrade, and Dubai is at the head of the class. And now for the grand summary, the digital dessert, if you will. The UAE, with Dubai at its forefront, is actively shaping the future of finance by embracing stablecoins. Through strategic regulatory frameworks and significant infrastructure developments, the country is creating a vibrant ecosystem designed to attract global businesses while ensuring consumer protection and financial stability. Key elements include the launch of AED as a dirham-backed stablecoin backed by the Central Bank of the UAE, ensuring price stability and reducing volatility. No more roller coaster rides for your digital dirhams. This initiative is set to bolster financial inclusion by facilitating affordable and immediate remittances, particularly for the expatriate community. The adoption by major entities like Air Arabia and the integration into initiatives like real estate tokenization highlight the practical, widespread utility of stablecoins. This strategic shift is expected to provide a substantial economic boost and cement the UAE's position as a global leader in the digital economy. The UAE is not just adapting to the future of finance, it is actively setting a precedent for other nations aiming to modernize their financial systems and promote inclusive economic growth. But what's missing? There is no blueprint for the entire world, so there could be a global adoption. Next week, we move into tokenization and its growth in real estate. Let's understand the token game. But before that, do not forget to subscribe and hit the like button and tell me in the comments what are your thoughts on Dubai and its new digital dirham. This is CryptoPulse UAE and I'm Pratibha Raman. See you next week.